Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I have an update on the whole CEO assassination thing, the insurance CEO, Brian, what's his name? And they found a suspect. They caught somebody, a guy named Luigi Mangione, I think that's how you pronounce it. Through those pictures that were released, someone working at McDonald's in Altoona, I think Pennsylvania, recognized the guy and turned him in. So now everybody is up in arms. They're review bombing that McDonald's, and everybody hates McDonald's now. So, this just kills me because McDonald's has been feeding us this bullshit and calling it food for decades, right? And nobody gives a shit. Whatever, they're making us fat and indolent and feeding us garbage, chemicals, and but if a McDonald's employee turns in a murderer, an assassin, and now everybody's pissed off at McDonald's. Now that's where we draw the line as a nation. So that just cracks me up. Whether I agree or disagree with the guy or whatever, what he did, I don't know, but that just cracks me up that everybody's pissed off at McDonald's because their employee turned in a murderer. So, as it turns out, if this guy is the guy, number one, we don't even know if the authorities think they have the right guy. We don't know what's going on yet. They just have a person of interest that they have arrested. Supposedly, the guy that they arrested had a 3D printed gun in his possession and some other stuff, some fake IDs or whatever. The thing about this is that he's a Ivy League graduate, the person that they've arrested, and he obviously comes from money. So the whole insurance thing with, that I said yesterday that, possibly one of his parents or somebody close to him died because, the hospital wouldn't treat him because the insurance wouldn't provide cover the claim. That's all out the window now. I was just wrong with that theory. I thought it was something like that, but now it's looking like some kind of weird deep state shit again. Some kind of deep state conspiracy shit, because the guy is an Ivy League graduate. He came from plenty of money. So it seems as if right now that he had no motive. Completely zero motive. He had resources. He had a good life. Graduated with a degree. Was on to a good life. He was a good-looking kid. Had no problem getting girls, probably. He, looked like just the model American boy about to go on to a great life. But he throws it all away to kill just a random CEO. You can't make this stuff up. So be ready for the conspiracy theories to start flying. And I don't blame them. Whenever this stuff happens and there's absolutely no motive, we have no idea what's going on, and I don't know whether to blame the mental health, right? What kind of medications was this kid on? What was going on with this kid? And was he off of medications? Like he couldn't get it, whatever it was. Obviously, he went to college, so he was indoctrinated there to some degree. He was some kind of left-wing nut job, right? Coming out of college. So there's just no telling. In an Ivy League school like that, there's no telling what kind of tentacles the government has in there. There've been past people like that coming out of Ivy League schools who have done things like this. It's crazy. Is that just another coincidence, right? If you've watched my shows before, another coincidence. I believe it was the Unabomber that came out of an Ivy League school. And there's probably more than those than him that I can think. I just can't think of them right now. But why do these people coming out of these Ivy League schools with everything to live for, why do they go off and do this weird shit? It doesn't make sense. And why the coincidence part? Why is it Ivy League schools? What's the deal with that? Why doesn't somebody come out of a vocational college and, a VOTEC and go popping off rounds? So, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. Just the laws of statistics would tell you that, that it would be randomly scattered throughout different colleges and schools and whatever, but it's not. It's these kind of people. And like I said yesterday, it's everybody, left, right, and middle, that's pissed off that somebody snitched on this guy. And to me, that says a lot. Because where are we as a society where an assassin is a folk hero? An assassin is celebrated. The person that gets him brought to justice is vilified. Okay, and not saying that it's wrong right now. Not saying that it's right. I'm just pointing out the fact that it's happening. There's something wrong with the society. There's something wrong with the system to affect society that way. Because if we are vilifying the person that brings an assassin to justice, then what does that say about the system? And that's a gut reaction. That's just a feeling we get. It's a gut reaction. If everybody sat down and thought it through, maybe we'd feel differently. I don't know. But the gut reaction is to cheer for this guy and to vilify the snitch. So there's a bigger picture here that we need to think about. What is wrong with our system and our society to the point where this kind of thing happens? Why is it a gut reaction to cheer for someone who assassinates a CEO? And as I've said, I have my own personal feelings, but I can't talk about them because I'm on YouTube, okay? So I can't just come out and say exactly how I feel because y'all won't see this video. Having said that, the whole situation points to a bigger problem, and it probably points to a smokescreen. These kind of things happen and something else bigger is happening somewhere else. All right? They're pulling some shit, in my opinion. Every time this shit happens and it makes all the news and all the memes and everybody's looking up this guy and trying to figure out what's going on, and we're all doing all this research, and I'm making a video about the situation, but something else is happening somewhere else that's a lot more important. Right now we've got things like Donald Trump trying to get his cabinet in place. We've got these people screwing around, these people in our government, in our system, screwing around with over there in Syria and these other countries, trying to keep these wars, prolong these wars, and people, doing all this crazy crap. So we don't know what the hell they're trying to distract us from. There's just so many. They're doing so much evil, hateful shit that which one are they? Maybe they're just trying to constantly keep us distracted from all that evil, hateful shit. Maybe it's that simple. But another thing is that I guess that the CEO was involved in some lawsuit or something that was going on, and he was in trouble for some dirty dealings he was doing, supposedly. And I don't know, it might have tied up to that. Maybe he was about to drop a dime on somebody else in the government. There's no telling what. That's all conjecture. It's all theory. I have no idea. But that's the kind of shit that's going to start coming out, and we can expect it. But we all know that our system is broken. Our government is basically evil, not only to us, but the entire world. Our government is destroying lives across the globe. Except for you flat earthers, it's our government's destroying lives across the plate. So it's like, it's just so sickening the more I think about it, that how much our government is doing all around the world, and we just sit by and do nothing about it. We just turn a blind eye. And it's time for that to stop. It's time to quit focusing on the bullshit. It's just sickening to me that our government does all this stuff all over the world, and this, anytime something like this happens, this assassination thing, there are always these big holes in their explanation. Giant holes big enough to drive a train through, and all these questions left unanswered. We never get the full story. They never, unseal the documents. They never just disclose everything to the American public. It's always shady. It's always behind the scenes. It never makes any shred of sense. It's all deep state conspiracy theory, and anybody who asks a question about it is completely insane just for wondering what the hell happened and what if our government was involved in it. So why don't they just come clean? Why isn't our government just honest with us? China, Russia, all these other countries have all this nuclear capability. They have all this capability. So why doesn't the government just come clean and tell us the truth? What would happen? You think, would it be World War III? Would we just stop being America the day after the government, let us see all these documents? We just quit being America. Is that what would happen? Would we all die? Would we all get sick? What would happen? Would Russia take over the planet? I don't think any of that stuff would happen. I think we'd just keep trucking, but now we'd know the truth. China has the same technology we do now, and so does Russia. They both have enough nuclear armament to destroy the planet. So how can it get worse than that? How can they get more? It's because the government claims that it's for national security. And that, to me, that's just bullshit. Keeping the JFK files under wraps for national security, that's a complete and total lie. Keeping anything other than, highly technical schematics for the newest weapons under lock and key for national security purposes, other than that, everything else is just a lie. They're hiding stuff from us on purpose to keep us in the dark, to keep us confused. They're doing shady deals and passing shady laws in these 1,000-page bills, because they'll pass a spending bill, and then they'll have all these laws and regulations crammed in there. But then we have no idea what those laws and regulations are. But 5 years from now, if you go try to do something, you're not allowed to because a law has been passed. And it happened in this spending bill that happened back in the past, and you didn't even know it. All this shit should be up front, out in the open, and in the light of the American people. That's how these sacks of lying shit keep getting reelected, because they're voting on these bills that harm the American people, but the American people don't even know what's in the bill. So how can I say, hey, you're a bad guy, you voted in favor of that bill, when I don't even know what was in the bill? But this is where we're living in today. Everything's mixed and twisted and hidden and confusing. Now, we don't know if this assassin was deep state psyops guy, or whether he was just off his meds, or whether he had some kind of legitimate reason for doing it in his own head, for throwing his entire life away just for the fun of it, I don't know. But what I do know is that our government is hiding stuff from us, and they have been for a very long time, and it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up to that fact and start asking questions, to start thinking. Gen X thinks, to start thinking for ourselves and doing something about it. We grew up watching Conan and He-Man and all this stuff, but when it comes time for us to do something, it's too much trouble. No, that's got to end. We should know. We should know what's going on. And we should demand to know. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to become a member of Gen X Thinks, I'll leave that link down in the description. Or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. If you're interested in Gen X gear, you can head over to Redbubble and check that stuff out over there. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff, coffee mugs, t-shirts, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff over there. I'll leave that link down in the description as well. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. Thank you so much for doing that. I sincerely appreciate it. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us, and the email's over on the channel page. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.